Mr. Conwell, Mr. Kane, Mr. Burrow.
Aye.
This evening, we will begin review of the proposed FY22 budget. At our last meeting, you were all given the supplemental information along with the budgetary reports for Fund 1, the General Fund, also Fund 8, the Transportation Fund, Fund 10, the Fund for Greensville Volunteer Fire Department, and Fund 17, Solid Waste Enterprise Fund. I hope you've had time to look through the information. That way we won't have to go into as much detail today if you are familiar with it. In your supplemental information book, there is a table of contents which lays out the order of the book to make it easy for you all to find the information as we work through the departments. Of course, you have the budget calendar, which was approved at the last meeting. Behind that, you have departmental notes, which is a breakdown of everything that was received from each department head or community organization, laying out and documenting their request for funding in the upcoming year. The green tab behind that is a budget summary based on the information on hand at that point in time, and today you have been given the information which goes behind tab 4, capital improvements. Your capital improvements information is also to be found on your desk there in front of you. We will start with reviewing the departmental budgets, and we will work from the reports, the budgetary reports that you have in your binder book. I'm going to start with the expenditures. These are expenditures for Fund 1. They're clearly labeled in your book. And as you see, page 1 begins with the Board of Supervisors. The current budgeted amount for the Board of Supervisors in this FY21 year is $301,462. There is a request for FY22 in the amount of $187,011. As you can see, this is a reduction in the amount for the Board of Supervisors. That's mainly due to the reduction for professional services. Under administration, the current budgeted amount is $593,320. The requested amount is $743,539. This is an increase of $150,219, about a 25% increase. That also includes, one reason for that increase, of course, is the inclusion of one additional employee. And of course, it goes without saying that fringes also increase along with the salary that is being budgeted. The next department is the county attorney. The current budgeted amount is $91,075. The request for the upcoming year is $105,975. That is a slight increase there. Commissioner of Revenue. We have a current budgeted amount of $326,731. The current request is for $393,021, an increase of $66,280, about a 20% increase overall. The Commissioner has requested one additional full-time employee. There is no money budgeted in the upcoming year or requested for reassessment since that process is over and done with. The Treasurer, we have $340,679 in the current fiscal year as a budgeted amount. The request for the upcoming year is $359,680, a $19,001 increase, about 5.5%. Finance. Current year budgeted amount is $342,482. The request is for $370,839, a $28,357 increase, which calculates out to be about 8.2%. Under information technology, we have a current budgeted amount of $198,148. The request is for $180,708. That's a $17,440 decrease, about 8%. The Electoral Board, the budgeted amount for this year is $147,468. We have a request that totals $189,723. That's an overall increase of $42,255, about 28%. It does include one additional full-time employee. Circuit Court, currently they budgeted at $98,984. The request is for $94,268, a decrease of about 4.7%. General District Court is budgeted in FY21, $46,932. Their request totals $31,950 for the upcoming fiscal year, $14,000 increase. That's about 31% less. The Magistrate is currently budgeted at $3,787. Their request for the upcoming year is $2,347, about a 38% increase, $1,440. The Clerk's Office, the current budgeted amount is $440,013. The request is for $453,373. That is an increase of $13,360, or the equivalent of 3% increase. Court Security, the current budgeted amount is $207,578. Their request is for $245,659. That's an increase of $38,081, and it equates to an 18.3% increase. Under the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, their current budgeted amount is $820,231. The request is for $759,034. That's a decrease of $61,197, or 7.5%. Under Highway Safety, we have budgeted currently $394,420. The request for the upcoming year is $395,335, slight increase of $915, or a 0.231% increase. The Sheriff's Office is currently budgeted at $2,804,890. Their request is for $2,930,591. That's a $125,701 increase, or 4.48%. School Resource Officer is currently budgeted at $198,715. Their request is for $207,689. It's about an $8,974 increase, or 4.5%. Under Fire and Rescue, you have numerous items that are included in Fire and Rescue. They include, of course, the Line of Duty Act for the various agencies. There's also contributions to the Jarrett Fire Department. There is a contribution to MedFlight, the Red Cross, and also our portion of the fire services for the Greensville Volunteer Fire Department. All of these total in the current fiscal year $243,784, and the request for next year is $271,975, a $28,000 cumulative increase across all of the agencies that you see shown here. The regional jail has not yet turned in their request for the upcoming year. I think they are currently working on their budget. They have not yet given us any idea about what the county's portion will be. Just as an estimation, I have included $850,000 that is subject to change as we move through this process. Under juvenile probation, We have $67,750 budgeted currently, and a like amount is requested for FY '22. Building inspections, $180,662 is currently budgeted. A request of $192,809 has been submitted for FY '22. That's a $12,147 increase, or 6.7%. Under animal control, we have a current amount of $140,187 budgeted. The request for the upcoming fiscal year is for $154,010, or $13,823 increase, which is about 9.8%. Under emergency management, $100,908 is the current budgeted amount, and for FY '22, the amount requested is $59,564, or about a 40% decrease. Under highways and street lighting, we have $32,820 budgeted. A like amount is being requested in the upcoming year. Collection sites, $440,595 makes up the current year's budget. The request is for $451,665, or an $11,070 increase, which equates to 2.5%. Refuse collection, which is a service contract, we have $12,500 budgeted. It's been determined that only $11,500 will be needed in the upcoming year. Under refuse disposal, these are the payments the county makes to the Solid Waste Enterprise Fund for all of the debris from county residents. We have $200,000 budgeted currently. In FY '22, the request is for $193,053, which is about a 3.4% decrease. Under buildings and grounds, this is the courthouse. $833,361 is currently budgeted. The request is for $857,199. This is a $23,000 increase. It's about 2.8% of the budget. Under Greensville County Government Building, the amount currently budgeted is $422,188. The request is for $445,507, a $23,319 increase, which equals 5.5%. One item of note is that all of the information included in buildings and grounds for the courthouse and also for the government building, if there are items that are used in both places that have been requested for capital outlay, we do split those 75-25%. Employees are paid the same way unless they only work in one area. Those girls and ladies and gentlemen that only work at the courthouse show up under the courthouse, and those that only work at the government center show only under the government center. Moving on to the health department, we did not receive a request this year from the health department, as we did not last year. I have put in a like amount of $97,410 as a placeholder. Hopefully we will hear from the health department. We have one additional request there, and that is for the replacement of the columns on the front of their building. They are on either side of the front door. The estimate for that replacement is $5,000, so that increases their overall budget to $102,410 for FY '22. Under mental health and retardation, we have the donation or contribution to Chapter 10. This amount is $60,263, the very same amount that we budgeted in the current fiscal year. Social Services has requested an increase in their funding. Their current adopted budget is $436,143. Their request is for $444,703, a slight increase of $8,560, or about 1.9%. The Area Agency on Aging has requested a $3,000 increase. over last year. Their request is for $8,000 in FY '22. Comprehensive services, they have a current FY '21 budgeted amount of $191,820. A like amount is requested for FY '22. Under local contributions, we have a number of items that show here. Some of these are education-related, others are not, so I'm going to go through those one by one. We have Southside Virginia Community College. The request this year is for $5,448. In the current year, they are budgeted $4,957. We have received no request for personnel contribution costs this year. That is something that we paid as a one-time amount last year. Head Start at $33,000 in the current year, and they have requested a like amount of $33,000 in the upcoming year. The Workforce Development Center, $97,665 is the current budgeted amount, and $102,124 is the amount requested for the next fiscal year. Most of that is due to the fact that the community college is no longer, of course, providing their utility payments, which helps offset the expenditures on this side, so they have to be taken up by the two localities, the city and the county. Eagle Scholarship remains level at $10,000. Southside RAM of Virginia, $2,000 is the amount that was budgeted last year, and a like amount is requested this year.
Does that need to be put in there if that's been canceled?
Well, they did. They canceled it last year, and you all decided to give them the money. That's your choice. Virginia Legal Aid has requested $5,081. They have no prior history with the county, but this new request does show up in this department. Transportation, our local share this year, as you can see, has decreased. We had a share of $10,594 last year. Our proportion this year is $8,100. At this point, it's appropriate to tell you that we have an agreement that you may not be aware of with the City of Emporia, and that ridership plays a big part in how the cost for transportation are actually shared between the city and the county. For the first 3 years of operation, the Greensville Emporia Transit System operated on a 50-50 share. This year, it is based solely on ridership, and the city picks up more than half of that ridership. So their share went up to about $13,000 this year, where ours dropped to, $32,000, I think, and ours dropped to $8,100. Greensville County Water and Sewer Authority, the hydrant fees that show here is a $600,000 contribution. It's the same as in the current fiscal year. We also have a contribution for the authority and the Skipper's Wastewater Treatment Plant, $146,912. If you move down to the truck driving training school, the lease on that building and facility is $4,800. This is paid to the Airport Commission. The Greensville County Training School, we had $15,000 currently. And the next upcoming fiscal year, they have requested $20,000. And that covers all of the contributions in that department. Parks and Recreation follows. The Emporia Greensville Rec Association was budgeted $41,000 in the current fiscal year. They have requested $51,000 in the upcoming fiscal year. Jarrett Rec Association did not submit a request this year for funding. The CYC requested $10,639. That's the same amount we paid them currently, and that amount has been entered. Washington Park Center, we had $5,000 in the current budget just for routine maintenance items that need to be done on the building to make it inhabitable, and we want to keep monies in there should repairs become necessary, so another $5,000 is recommended in the upcoming year. The YMCA had $30,000 in the current year, and they have requested a like amount in FY '22. Following that department is the Golden Leaf Commons. Their current budget amount is $117,848. The request for the upcoming year is $111,359. That's a slight decrease of $6,489, or about 5.5%. The Mehuron River Arts Council, as you recall, the Mehuron River Arts Council is the benefactor of a state grant. We actually get from the state $4,500. We match that with a contribution of $5,500 to maintain the $10,000 level that we have always given to the Arts Council. Library, their current budgeted amount is $142,610. Their request is for $153,064. That's an increase of $10,454, and that's about a 7.3% increase. Planning. The budgeted amount is $207,713. The request for the upcoming year is $298,594. That's a $90,000 increase, about 43%. As you can see, the biggest part of that, of course, is in the comprehensive update. We have $75,000 budgeted that we did not include in the current year. Housing follows that. We have an adopted budget this year of $57,609. The request for the upcoming year is $37,313. There is nothing for Maymac nor Otter Dam Road. Those are projects that we have completed, and you move down to economic development. We have a current budget of $572,009. The request for next year is $572,073, a very small increase. GIS is the next department that shows current budget of $70,494. The request is for $86,185. That's about a $15,000 increase. As you see, the biggest part of that is for a capital outlay line item, a printer that is needed in the amount of $10,349. Environmental management, we have one line item there, the Soil and Water Conservation Board. Current year, we show an amount of $7,415 budgeted. A like amount is being requested for FY22. Under VPI, we have a total of $83,348. The request for the upcoming year is $83,627, a very small increase there. We move down. We also have the transfer to the school fund. The amount that has been entered is just the figure based on the current methodology. It's a placeholder until the agreement is in place and we know exactly what the county share will be. That amount will have to be adjusted as time moves on. It is, like I say, a placeholder. This is a fluid document. Things do change as you move along. There are numbers here that will change once recommendations are made, and once you have met with departments, there will be questions, I'm sure, to some of these department heads that will need to be put into place also. We have, of course, a transfer to local capital projects, and we will get to capital projects in just a few minutes. That amount is based on what is actually paid out of the general fund each year for projects. We have a breakdown for you, too, on whether they're bond funds, local monies, or a share from the city of Emporia for particular projects. The very last department in your Fund 1 here are your debt payments. All of your debt service payments show there. We currently budgeted $1,444,360. We have for the upcoming year a request of $1,544,740. If you will move on to following your Fund 1, we have Fund 8 that immediately follows the report. Fund 8 is a transportation system. This is a budget that has to be submitted to DRPT by February, the 1st of February every year. We do not receive approval on it from them until June, but we move forward with a proposed budget in place, and if it has to be amended based on their approval after July 1, we take care of that through budget amendment resolutions. you can see that currently we had a budget of $155,074. The request for the upcoming year is $160,805. If you recall, Greensville County's share of that 160 is only $8,100. Immediately following the expenditure report there, you have a breakdown that shows you where the funds come from for the transit system. If you would like for me to go through these one by one, I will. I will tell you that there is a calculation, a percentage calculation to determine the state and the federal share. That leaves the county's local share along with the cities to make up the difference that is needed. We do receive some funds from the Department of Social Services, and you see those that are listed there also. But other than that, there are not a lot of sources of outside funding for the transit system. Moving on to Fund 10, we have the Greensville Fire Department. The current budget for the year is $342,479. We have requested for the upcoming year $329,830. All expenses for the fire department are shared between the city and the county. There's a contract that governs the sharing of this expenditure, and that agreement is based on usage. There is a per call charge that we bill for. We do estimates at the first of the year, and then we do a reconciliation at the end of the year. As you see, immediately following the Fund 10 expenditures, there are Fund 10 revenues there, and they are solely comprised of an amount from the city and from the county. The very last fund showing in your book is Fund 17. This is the Solid Waste Enterprise Fund. This, of course, is an enterprise fund that governs the landfill. You have a total budget for the current year of $973,233. The request for operating expenditures in the upcoming year is $951,370. We also have reserve accounts, which are required, of course, by DEQ for closure and post-closure, and I'm sure you're all familiar with those. We also include a reserve account for new equipment, as the equipment out there is very expensive when it has to be replaced, so it's always recommended to have a reserve account to help offset those fees. A total budget of $1,182,927 is proposed for the landfill. The revenues immediately following that show you exactly where those monies are coming from. You have the contribution, if you want to call it that, or charges for the County of Greensville in the amount of $193,053. We also have charges proposed for the City of Emporia based on their past experience of $190,356. There's institutional waste of $100,999. And then we have a proposed amount for the industries that also take their debris to the landfill in the amount of $196,875. Commercial waste comprises a large part of the waste taken to the landfill, and that amount is projected to be $500,144. There's a small amount for just city residents that take odd things directly to the landfill that they are billed for in the amount of $1,500. That total $1,182,927,000. Your Fund 8, your Fund 10, and your Fund 17 are all balanced budgets at this point based on the request. Of course, these are all still up for discussion. There are individual line items here that have been noted in your supplemental notes in your book. There's documentation from your department heads justifying the request for capital outlay line items and also for new personnel cost. My plan was to review this with all of you all today, give you a heads up and let you know where we are at this point, but also to let you know that hopefully our next budget meeting will be set up with appointments so that you all can meet with all of the department heads. And I think our following meeting, the calendar actually stated that we would do meetings with the community organizations and outside agencies. So we will begin making those appointments. If you all do not object to that plan process, that way you can go over each of these in detail, have time to review the notes, compare them to their request. In the meantime, of course, staff goes back and we'll be making recommendations also based on what we see in the notes and then doing projections on each of the line items. Hopefully, we will be able to balance Fund 1. There is one huge outstanding item that has not been taken into consideration, of course, and that is the capital plan for schools. Supposedly, a meeting is going to be scheduled so that the budget can be presented to both City Council and to the Board of Supervisors. You all will then have the opportunity to question anything in that budget that you would like, to ask questions about the capital. They, of course, have lots of large capital items. We have included that list for you in the packet that you had received today lying on your desk. All of that capital information is in this document right here, and we'll go over a little bit of that now if you would like. I have included for you, first off, if you will go to probably the third page in the document, it's a sheet that says CIP request received. What you have there is just a spreadsheet showing every request that was received. There was a description of the project, and there's also a total cost associated with that project. We have listed them there for you, but of course we have taken this one step further. And the first two sheets show you, of course, what we have done. Staff has worked to see which projects were actually requested for FY22, and it's apparent that most department heads wait until the last minute. They want everything in 1 year. That's not always possible. We try to do our best to accommodate them, of course, but that this too contributes to balancing Fund 1 in your budget. Capital plays such an important part on the county's end and also on the school system's end. But you will see that we have laid out a 5-year plan there for you, and that's 22, 23, 24, 25. At this point, no one would have been happy had I pushed them to 26. We have 26 as part of the plan, but there are no projects right now in FY26. Full review of those proposed in the upcoming fiscal year, if you will look at that long sheet, I have listed there the items of note, and the first is the maintenance pole shed. It's a cost of $50,000. The next item is the replacement of the storefront at the Phoenix building. This is where the Commonwealth Attorney is located. The front of that building, of course, is wood, and due to water damage, it is deteriorating in really, really a fast fashion, and the Buildings and Grounds Supervisor has told me that it does need attention. The approximate cost for that is going to be about $100,000. That, of course, will be shared with the City of Emporia. Below that, we have the repainting of the courthouse and also of the clerk's office. We also have at the courthouse the replacement of the columns. We have replacement of the flat roof. We have repairs to the brickwork, and the courthouse expansion project is in here also. You see that those items are rather large ticket items, but they are things that all need attention sooner rather than later. Below that, the economic development request incorporates two major projects. One is a shell building in the amount of $4 million, and the second is the natural gas line in the amount of $7 million. You can see that they both have been pushed out to FY23 and FY24. There's planning that has to take place with both of those, but you need to be aware of them and start the process so you will be ready to actually expend the funds at the proper time. Immediately following that, we have the bipolar ionization air purifier and cleaning system that needs to be installed in this building, and that cost attached to that project is $52,086. We have the same type of air cleaning system for the government building at a cost of $57,082. We had one submission by planning this year. That was the Liberty Road extension. The total project is estimated to cost $1.8 million. But before the project can start, of course, you will need to do the proper work to lay the groundwork for that, and that means, of course, that the environmental PER will have to be done in the next year before we can even begin to think about construction of that Liberty Road extension. The cost of the road itself right now in today's dollars is $1.7 million. We have a request to replace 2 trucks for solid waste collections. The first is the boom truck at a cost of $145,000. That seems to be the priority. And then also the roll-off truck needs to be replaced. That is shown in FY23. We have 2 fire trucks that have been on our CIP list for a number of years. The first is the brush truck at a cost of $250,000. That is right now placed in FY24, and the replacement of engine number 33 has been placed in FY25. We will be receiving, of course, a brand new ladder truck somewhere near the fall or the end of this year. That was something you all approved last year, and we did get the city's approval as far as receiving their portion of that project. So if you look at the next sheet, which says FY22 impact on budget, this is an explanation of all those projects that staff has recommended for FY22, and it shows you the source of funding. So the pole shed that is being requested for the maintenance shop, and that is for the storage of equipment. If you see there, it gives you that, under the description of the project, it gives you justification as to why the pole shed is needed. But that $50,000 staff has placed under the column which reads county share. That means that it will actually come from the county's general fund. The next item, the replacement of the storefront at the Phoenix building, that's a $100,000 expense, but as I mentioned before, that's a cost that is shared with the city. So the county pays $67,380 of that, and the city share is $32,620. The repainting of the clerk's office is $50,000. In consideration of the fact that the courthouse expansion project should be kicked off in the next year or so, it was determined that the best thing to do was to incorporate some of the request for capital items at the courthouse along with the expansion and roll those into the bond proceeds. So the $50,000 for the painting of the courthouse and the clerk's office, along with the repairs of the brickwork, which shows a little further down, with a $37,000 price tag, are 2 of the items that would probably be rolled into the bond fund, so that while we're working on the courthouse, we can go ahead and bring everything up to grade and have it all look fresh and new. It's not a good thing to add on to something and have an old part so evident and have the new part stand out like a glaring, not sore thumb, but it would surely show up how badly the rest of the building needs maintenance. So they are under bond proceeds. You see those 3 items, the $50,000 for the repainting of the courthouse, the $37,000 for the brickwork, and then, of course, the courthouse expansion itself. The remaining items there are the replacement of the columns at the courthouse. That is an expense that's shared with the city. The $150,000 price tag is split, $88,000 for the county and $61,000 for the city. We also have the replacement of the flat roof. A total cost of $65,000 actually allocates out to be $38,149 for the county and $26,852 for the city share. If you go beyond that, the bipolar ionization cleaning systems are both shown there. They will be a general fund expenditure. The planning portion of the Liberty Road extension and the cost associated with the engineering report of $18,000 is all that's needed in the next fiscal year, and that $18,000 will also come from the general fund. The solid waste collections boom truck, which is the priority of $145,000, is shown as a general fund expenditure also. So what you have here are total projects in the amount of $2,899,218. You have bond proceeds, which will account for $2,262,050, a general fund transfer of $515,732, and a city share of $121,437. While we're still talking about these capital projects, let me note that any debt service that is incurred for the project surrounding the courthouse by which the county would borrow these bond monies, the city will also pay a share of those. Are there any questions regarding the capital projects that are presented? You have been given the entire packet. Every request is attached for your review. The justification is received by the department heads. You can look those over, note your questions, and we will hopefully have those coming soon. There is one determining factor, though, in the CIP that has not been incorporated, of course, and as I mentioned before, that is schools. Until a decision is made on the school CIP projects, you will not have anything showing in this budget to account for those. You have been given the information. The requests are included. I'm trying to see if, yes, behind the reports that I've just reviewed for you, you have all of the requests that were received from the schools. A lot of the capital requests, they took care of with CARES money. They have gotten an allocation from CARES, and they had to actually, they went through, designated the use of those funds for some of the capital projects that they had requested. So that reduced their ask to Greensville County. But you probably want to familiarize yourself with these projects. You will be hearing more about them from Dr. Evans and her staff when they review the budget with you. And this is something that you're going to have to think about because it's such a large part of our budget. Without having this number, it's going to be hard for us to proceed and balance this budget for you all. Are there any questions regarding the information I've shared with you? No?
I got one.
Yes, sir.
With the HVAC and the repair of the school, we was gonna get that done, right?
The
Before?
HVACs?
Yeah, the HVAC, the windows, et cetera.
Well, that was part of the Honeywell study, but they did not move forward with the Honeywell study. What they have done, they have taken those HVACs and they have used CARES funding to buy new units for the high school.
From the CARES fund?
CARES funding.
Okay.
That's one of the items that is definitely not on this list any longer. If you all would like to, we can briefly review the revenues for Fund 1. You have that information, I think, also in your booklet there. We can go over those. That is the first report in your binder, your big book. If you do these too early in the year, you don't have a really good handle on what we're actually going to collect. So these are estimates at this point. They will probably be adjusted too as we go further into the year and we can tell more about what our collections are going to be. But we will go through these. You see at the very first item that's listed on revenue, of course, is real estate tax. We had budgeted for the current year $3,600,000. As you can tell by your report, collected to date has been $4,009,516. The recommendation for next year, and these are conservative, is $3,900,000. We also have Public Service Corporation taxes. The current budgeted amount was $6,300,000. We received $7,082,913. That was a pleasant surprise. The estimate for the upcoming year is $6.5 million. Personal property taxes. We had budgeted for the current fiscal year $1,828,623. We have estimated $1.9 million for the upcoming year. Now, as you see on this, there are some prior years that show up, but that's a nominal, not very nominal amount. We usually just budget for the current year. Collections sometimes from past years will take us over what we budgeted. Sometimes they make up the part of the funds that we have budgeted. You never know how people are going to end up paying those. Considering the fact that we've had a pandemic in the last year and the economy has been what it is, I was very pleased to see the numbers on both personal property and real estate. I really had anticipated some reductions in collections, and it was a pleasant surprise to see that we really did not take that dip. You have machinery and tools budgeted at $837,900. We actually collected through March $932,396, but the estimate at this point for the next year is $900,000. That leaves us a little bit of room for play. If we decide that this number is still going up, we may go back and adjust that later. Penalty and interest. This is a game. Who knows what interest may be like, how much interest we may actually collect. I have based these estimates on the fact that we have actually collected what we anticipated in both real estate and personal property. Now, anything after December 5th, you know, does accrue interest, and there is a penalty. So that's helped contribute to the numbers that you see here. Being on the conservative side, the projection is $495,000, and that is, of course, for the penalty, interest, and the administrative fee combined. Mobile homes tax, $31,500 was budgeted. We projected $30,000 for the upcoming year. We also have a motor carrier's tax. It's a very low number. $2,700 was budgeted for the current year. We did collect $4,500, so we have upped that based on the last 2 years' experience of collections to $4,000 in the upcoming year. Local sales and use tax. We have $500,000 budgeted. As you can see, there's been a steady decline since FY18, and all of you know why that is. And it dropped off tremendously in 20, by 50% even. In the past years, before 17, we actually, before 16, we actually had collected around $500,000 a year. That seemed to have been the level by which our sales tax came back to us. We are projecting for the upcoming year $550,000. Consumer utility taxes, there are various taxes here showing. There are some from, of course, the authority, the Columbia Gas, Mecklenburg, and Dominion. They stay pretty steady. You can see the history there. The current year total of all of those, along with the consumption tax, was $324,000, and the recommendation for the upcoming year is $322,900. The BPOL taxes, we had budgeted $369,000 for the current year, and we were pleasantly surprised to see we surpassed that. We collected through March $530,000. The projection for next year is $450,000. Motor vehicle licenses, we were budgeted at $175,500. We have collected a little bit more than that this year, so the projection for the upcoming year is at $180,000. We have taxes on recordation and wills. This is a combination of various things, a grantee tax, tax on wills, and also court-appointed attorney fees. They're very minor, but about $27,500 is what they come in around each and every year, so a like amount is being projected for '22. Transient lodging tax. We expected that to drop, but it did not, thank goodness. We had budgeted $48,600. We've so far this year collected $62,009. Our projection for next year is $60,000 at this point in time. Meals tax was budgeted at $225,000. We have decreased that slightly for the upcoming year to $200,000. Telephone service taxes, this is the 911 wireless board, the dispatching fees. They stay right around $39,000 a year. We also have the communication sales and use tax. We had $148,500 budgeted currently. We may not make quite that much this year, so we have projected $135,000 for next year. That gives that entire department a total of $173,700 for the FY22 fiscal year. Dog licenses seem to be falling a bit. We've only budgeted $3,000 for the upcoming year. You get to permits and other licenses. This is a combination of a lot of little things, from building permits, which is the largest category, of course, in this whole department. We do have another one which brings in some money, the stormwater management permits, but that's an in and an out. We collect it, we turn around, and we actually pay that back out. So the projection for next year is $35,000. Fines and forfeitures. Of course, I'll say it again, we've been in the midst of a pandemic for the last year. There's not been a lot of traveling, and as you know, most of the fines and forfeitures that funds that we bring in are from speeders that are ticketed on 95. That has fallen off a bit. It looks like it may come in slightly lower this year. We are, after talks with the sheriff, he assures me that they should be back on track, hopefully, by the summer. We're projecting $1.3 million alone for that. You also have attached to fines and forfeitures, of course, things such as the courthouse maintenance fees, courthouse security fund. Those are all fees that are attached to each and every citation that is written by the deputies. And we also have interest, which is collected. So the other larger category in there, of course, is for e-summons fees. These are monies that we are collecting. They seem to be a really good, steady stream of revenue for us. Total for the department in the current fiscal year is $1,346,850. We're projecting $1,563,500 for the upcoming year. Interest earned from bank accounts. As everyone knows, interest rates are low and they may continue to fall. They may not pick back up. It's hard to tell what may happen. We had budgeted $35,000 for the current year. We are projecting $20,000 for the upcoming fiscal year. Revenue from the use of property is broken down here by the various buildings that we receive lease payments or rent payments on. I will not go through each and every one of those. I will tell you that the current year we had an adopted budget of $655,610. The projection for next fiscal year is $611,274. Moving below that, we have charges for services. These are various things from administrative fees to data processing fees from the various agencies that we deal with. The current year is $193,637 budgeted. We anticipate $183,870 in the upcoming year. Directly below that are your court costs. These are various fees that are collected and turned over to the county. The current year we had a $5,917 budgeted amount, and in the upcoming year we are projecting $7,217. We have the Greensville Emporia, Department of Social Services, the cost allocation payment. This is a payment that comes through DSS from the state and is given directly to the county. We had budgeted $43,000 for that. We actually received $59,433 this year. The anticipated payment for next year is $45,000. Below that, we have the DSS cost share agreement. There was an agreement that was put into place a number of years ago between the city, the county, and DSS, and the county was to receive their refund of $50,000 a year for a set number of years. That ended in the current fiscal year. We will not be receiving that $50,000. They have paid their fees in full. We have the Greensville County Water and Sewer Authority cost allocation. That's set at $50,000 a year, and it will stay at $50,000 for the upcoming year. There are some small charges that we collect for these other things, such as the animal control fees. They're very nominal. As you can tell, less than $100 has been collected this year. We're not budgeting anything for those. The charges for the health department telephone reimbursement is an in and out. We don't budget for it. We get that money. We pay that bill. They reimburse us for their telephone services. So we do not budget for that, never knowing what it's going to be, and it's a small amount. Recyclables are the same way. We also have under miscellaneous one line item that we call other miscellaneous. It's for unexpected payments that revenues that may come in through the treasurer's office that were not anticipated. They're usually not large at all. $10,000 is all we budget for that. As you can see, we had a $14,000 refund that was listed further down. I'm not sure why the treasurer recorded that there, and I have not found out what exactly that was for yet, but we are going to budget only $10,000 for the upcoming year. Under other recovered costs, there's a long list of items here, and most of these, of course, are incorporating the shared services with the City of Emporia. There are things from, of course, Circuit Court, VPI, law enforcement, the magistrate, health department, the library. There's also charges for the school resource officer, the share that we all pay together. We have the Commonwealth Attorney. I will not read each and every one of these to you. These are based solely on the expenditures that we incur and the contract that is in place that dictates what percentage that the city owes back to us. They are all detailed out there. If you have questions about any particular one, I'll surely try to answer that, but if not, we'll move on. We have payment in lieu of taxes. This is usually from game and inland fisheries. We receive a payment each year. It totals somewhere around $14,000. Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes it's a little less. Normally what we do is budget what we received the year before. We have nothing to base that on. It's a calculation that is run actually by the auditors each year, and we bill them for that amount. Below that, we have the non-categorical aid, which is received from the state by the county. That includes things such as mobile home titling taxes, estate recordation taxes, rolling stock tax. And then the biggest, of course, in the group is our personal property tax relief. This is the $1,065,419 that we have received each and every year since Mr. Gilmore decided to do away with personal property tax, and then, of course, it came back. This amount will continue to show until the state decides no longer to give that to us. Following that, you have the shared expenses. We have, of course, the Commonwealth Attorney at the bottom of that page, the Sheriff, the Commissioner of Revenue, the Treasurer, the Registrar, and the Clerk's Office. These are the amounts that are received directly from the Comp Board for support of those offices. It is by no means reimburses the county for the entire expense for those offices, but it does help defray the cost. You can see they're both broken down there. The Comp Board estimates just came in last week. They will probably be adjusted again. As you can tell, even from looking at the FY21 budget, they were a tad high last year, and I do not think we will receive everything that we budgeted based on what the Comp Board indicates to us they are going to reimburse us, but that's the only thing we have to base this on, their estimates. So that's what is used in that department request column. As I mentioned before, excuse me, at the very bottom of that page, you have the Local Government Challenge Grant. That is the grant I mentioned when we talked about the Mahoning River Arts Council. The $4,500 comes from the state. The $5,500 is a local contribution to the organization. We do have jewelry reimbursement from the state. That is almost at the very end of your report. It can be anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a year. Of course, since we had no jewelry trials to speak of hardly, we got no reimbursement this year. That brings you to the bottom line. We have revenues that total, or that are projected, at $22,676,264. Are there questions regarding the revenues? No? Well, if not, I'll let you go home and we'll start making appointments for your next meeting, which is scheduled for next Monday. Now, you all approved the calendar Monday, but I don't know if you all are going to vary that, move that, alter it in any way. But before we start making appointments and things, we kind of need to have some firm dates for meetings in hand. I will just need a time for the meeting.
It's next Monday?
Yes, sir, and your closed session starts at 5. I'm sorry, no, it's not next Monday. We have 5 Mondays this month.
April 5th.
5th.
April 5th, yes. I forgot about the 5th week.
how much time we need before 5?
Well, normally when we make appointments about 10 minutes apart, except for some of the larger departments, such as the sheriff's department. We normally will give him 15 minutes. We can fit in, you can figure 10 minutes apart. You need a break somewhere in there. I know it gets tiring to sit here for longer than a couple of hours. If you want to start at 2, we could do, a couple hours or an hour and a half of appointments, take a break, and then come back and finish up.
What y'all think?
You gonna bring everybody in?
We're going to get as many as we can that day and roll the others into the next appointed day that you all decide on.
So are we doing next Monday or?
April 5th.
April 5th.
I'm sorry, not next Monday.
Okay.
I forgot there was a 5th Monday in this month.
Yeah, I don't see the point in bringing everybody in. I mean, if we're not having significant increases, why are we gonna question?
If they ask for
We can
32
split it
last year,
up.
we get 33
Can't we
this
split
year.
it up?
If we're not gonna question, why we gonna bring them before?
Can we split it up?
Well, if you all have looked at it and you're happy with it, then that's fine. We will begin work on trying to get this balanced and see how far we can get. That's up to you all.
I'm sure the constitutional officer ought to come before us, right?
Most likely.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think-
sure the constitutional officer ought to come before us.
So you don't, what you say is
Yeah,
not
I think
next time,
anybody that has
next
really
time?
large increases should come.
Okay.
Uh,
That's why I think anybody that had
Agreed.
large increases
Agreed.
should come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
But if
Okay,
they get
define
the same
large.
amount of money from one unit, I don't think they need to come before.
Yeah, I think we need to separate the ones that had the significant increases.
Right.
And just bring those in. Like Mr. Kane said, if we're gonna level a fund or somewhere close, other than just general cost of living, I don't see a need to bring them in.
Okay, we'll go back through and
I-
take a look at them
in
then.
my opinion.
Why don't you
So what-
let us take a look at it, determine how many appointments we need, and then tell you what kind of time frame we need.
So that would be,
Will that work?
That'd be
that would
fine.
still be on the 5th.
But what time?
Right, yeah.
Well, let me
You-
determine
You'll
how.
let us know.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we can do that. All righty, I'll let you go home then, unless you
Okay,
have
so-
further questions.
We just adjourn until the 5th? April 5th?
You should. Why don't you go ahead and say 3?
3 o'clock?
Why don't you say 3? I think that we could probably keep these narrowed down to 2 hours before
Okay,
your closed session.
okay. Can I get a move that we adjourn to 3 o'clock on April 5th?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved in second. All in favor, we move to the 5th at 3 o'clock. Roll call vote.
Ms. Astrop, Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Kane, Mr. Conwell.
Actually, oh, sorry, y'all.
What's wrong?
On the 5th,
The 5th. You got something to do? That's what
yes, you may have something to do,
Me?
Mr. Brown. Yes, Mr. Kane, I'm sorry. Senator Kane is coming to town on the 5th,
Okay,
and he is asked to meet with some local officials while he is
Okay.
here.
what time?
But I'm still waiting on final confirmation from his office, which I
Okay.
have not gotten yet.
So we can change that, right?
All right, would you like to do it next Monday, which is the 29th?
You gotta come to work here.
I think we can get the appointments set by then.
I don't have no problem with that.
Yeah,
At 3 o'clock?
I'm okay with that. 3 o'clock next Monday,
Okay,
29th?
Okay,
Will that
okay.
work for you, Ms.
Could
All
we
right.
change that?
March 29th at 3 p.m.
Okay, so
Do we need to go back and
do
do
we
our motion?
rescind? Can I get a move that we rescind the last date?
I so move.
Been moved in second. Can I roll call vote?
So second, who did the second?
Anybody second?
Okay. Ms. Astrop, Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Kane,
Aye.
Mr. Conwell.
Aye.
Can I get a move that we adjourn to next Monday, which is the
29th.
29th at 3
29th.
o'clock?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of the roll call vote?
Ms. Astrop,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Kane,
Aye.
Mr. Conwell.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you for reminding me, because I definitely forgot.